Welcome to episode 321 of Pub Theology Live, a weekly conversation on life and faith over a craft brewed pint, a fine wine, or whatever happens to be in your glass. On today's episode, the Reverend Shannon Weston, Ogun Holder, and yours truly, Brian Burkhoff, will address and engage what's happening through a theological lens with a good brew in hand.
A good brew that might be in one of the 5 pint glasses we got left. We got a few glasses left. So if you want one of our very famous, fabulous, the best ever Pub Theology pint glasses, sorry, I'm channeling my Trump today. You can head over to patreon.com/ptlive just for a few bucks a month. We will give you the pint glass. You get some extra content, some pre and post show banter. If you are a football fan, you want to get in on this because Brian and Shannon, like this is where the football diatribe happens, mostly in the post show. So you want to get in on that. I probably will not be involved, but thank you to our longtime excuse me. Ooh, thank you to our longtime subscribers and patrons.
Ogun's getting all choked up about it, about how much football he has to listen to.
About being left out of the football conversation. And I'm not going to watch football, so I got to deal with that. Patreon.com/PTLive.
Today we're going to discuss the rapture, forgiveness, disagreement, and calm. So for that, we might need a drink, gentlemen. What are we drinking today?
What do you got, Brian?
I am drinking Lima Besa Lime Lager. Nothing special, but it's what's in the fridge. A nice, a nice easy drinker, 4.5%. It's kind of a good summer beer, and we're getting some summer in September. So there you go.
Nice. Ogun, what you got today?
I'm also going fruity, not lime, but mango. It's a mango cider because nothing says fall like cider. I don't know if that's true, but I just made that up.
I think that's true. Maybe not mango cider, but cider, sure.
Well, I also have an apple and a blackberry, but the Caribbean in me was very curious about the mango, and I've never tried this. It's I think it's a local Portuguese thing called Bandida.
Nice.
Cidra de Pomar cider. There we go.
There we go. Well, I drank all of the remaining summer ales in the house last night. So
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. I drank them all, which was only 3, but still, nonetheless, I drank all of them in very quick succession, I might add. So I am not going as low content today. I am going 7.5% with a little something something ale.
Let's go.
Today.
Let's go.
Because I need it. No, I don't but I'm a little sad. Not gonna lie.
We'll pick me up after yesterday.
I'm a little sad, and we'll talk about that post show.
We'll talk about that post show. That's right.
Like I said, that's where the football talk happens.
So today is supposedly Rapture Day, but here we are. I guess either it didn't happen or we've been left behind, but in either case, we'll continue on. Wondering, let's chat amongst the three of us. How much did Rapture theology, was that a part of our faith tradition, or were we exposed to it at various points on our journey? So yeah, fire away.
So can I pause before you answer, Ogun?
Yes.
Because I'm pulling a Brian right now because it looked a little funny pouring it and it expired almost a year ago. So I'm going to drink it anyway, but I'm just
I think it's safe.
You.
I think 1 year, that's okay.
Anyway, please go ahead.
If we lose Shannon, it's not the Rapture.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So I'm pulling a Brian.
There you go. Yes, Rapture was involved from day one. Like, it was a thing. You had to be prepared because you never knew when Christ was coming back. At least the denomination I grew up in didn't try to give us a date. We actually believe what the scripture said. We don't know when, right? So we had to be on standby. What's that saying? You gotta stay ready so you don't have to get ready, or whatever it is. So I lived with the literal fear of God in me that any moment it will be rapture time. And yeah, and I needed to be on my best behavior
Right,
so
right.
that I will
Look,
be
the other saying is look busy. Jesus is coming back.
there you go. There you go. And it wasn't until I would say my mid-teen years that I was never worried about like being on a plane or anything because I was like, hey, pilot gets raptured, I'm getting raptured too. But then in my mid-teen years, I was puberty wise a late bloomer, and then uh, you know, yeah, I got myself in a little bit of trouble. Um, and then it was all very scary after that. So I do the thing normal teenagers do, and then go like, please God, don't let the rapture happen while this is happening, or immediately after,
Or I'm in big trouble.
or I'm in big trouble. So yes, rapture theology, and so one of the things I also posted today on Threads, because this is my social media platform I hang out on most of the time, and Threads was bringing it with the rapture stuff today. It was hilarious. Rapture outfits were going on. It was great. The I shared two things, and one of them was like, you know if the rapture does happen, those of us who are left behind might actually finally get like healthcare and you know a government that doesn't quote Leviticus at us and stuff like that. It was
Nice.
good. It was very good. But the other thing I posted was that I remember like after my first like crisis of faith slash deconstruction, and I was leaving like the literal slash evangelical relationship with Christianity. And I remember a few months after that, someone, there was like one of those, the rapture thing is going to happen. My brain knew, like my brain was like, yes, the rapture is not a real thing. It's not going to happen. My body, however, was still very anxious, right? Because I had spent basically 21 years
Right,
believing that this thing was going to happen.
right.
So, that whole thing, but the body never forgets. It's like I was still like tense and anxious. So I posted today, like, I recognize for some people out there, this might be their first like post deconstruction rapture day. So if you don't feel comfortable or you're not ready to make jokes about it yet because it's still a fresh wound, that's perfectly okay. We'll hold space for you. But yeah, this is a real thing. It's hard. It's hard for your entire self to switch off from that when you start that deconstruction journey. So a little, what's the word I want? Empathy for those folks who might be struggling in that place. All of y'all who bring in the rapture jokes, you're doing God's work.
And at least you exercise those calf muscles doing those rapture practice like jumping jacks.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, you're keeping
That's
healthy
right. That's
for
right.
the kingdom. Um, I was trying to look up because when I was in the fifth grade in Kentucky, there were two things that happened which seemed to be interestingly in opposition of each other, but like, so one was the fear of the rapture, and the other, like, the fear of the rapture and the prepper movement, like, collided in the Kentucky school system.
Wow.
Nice.
And so, literally, in the fifth grade, we were taught how to, like, we were doing survival kits for our house in case we were left behind, in case we were not raptured. Every family needed, this was in our school system, but there was a date. And so I looked up Rapture in the 1980s. And of course, what comes up is Blondie's song
Right.
Rapture. You can't, like, find a date. And I don't know, maybe it was just our small part of the world in Kentucky, but like I'm pretty sure this was a thing for like a Southern Baptist evangelical movement. And somebody had been through the Bible or some book and they'd circled like every other letter, and that's how they came up with this thing. Um and then, like, the guy that was on Oprah that wrote that book, like the Bible Code, in the late 90s, and
Yeah.
we were going to have another
Yeah.
one. I'm pretty sure the first one was Pat Robinson. Like I'm pretty sure like he had predicted it, it didn't happen. He was like, "Oh no, 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 it's this date." And then it was like somewhere in, like the late 80s. And then, right, like it kept
Amazing.
being that thing,
It's
right? Like,
amazing.
"Oh, I was wrong." And then it's somewhere in the future. And then the Bible code and although he never like predicted a rapture date, like people did use that book to try to predict one. And
Right.
then of course the whole Left Behind series.
Right.
And that all of that was part of my life.
Mm.
Um, I don't think I ever believed it, but it was all part of my life.
Yeah.
Brian, what
Yeah.
about you? Did you grow up with it?
So in the tradition I was raised in, we didn't believe in the rapture, but I was sent to a fundamentalist Bible summer camp in like late elementary, early junior high for like a number of summers in a row, even into high school. And they were super heavy into Rapture. So I sort of got it through the side door. And listen, when you're around the campfire at night, it's dark and you're being told all these things from adults that you implicitly trust. Like you're kind of like, oh, well, and they read a verse or two, and it's like, yeah, that makes sense, Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why I didn't hear this in church, but now now I'm hearing it. And I remember this camp was on a lake, and there was a big hill, and our cabins were up on the top of the hill. And a friend and I, one evening, there was this storm coming over the lake, and we just saw these huge clouds, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, this is it!" And we were like so freaked out. So I did get the experience of totally being freaked out that, "Oh my gosh, is it now?" And it never was positive, even though we supposedly gave our lives to Jesus, it still scared the shit out of you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that a
And
weird thing of it? Isn't it supposed to be like amazing and this like sort of
right.
a culmination of everything we believe in, and yet why does it terrify the living daylights out of you?
Well, and
Well, I
because it's
think
a
that
complete loss of control.
Yes,
But anyway, yeah,
right.
anyway.
but also there's always the message in that we have all sinned and fallen short, right? So there was
Yes.
always that, am I being pushed in enough?
Am I really in?
Am I really in? You're never really gonna know
Yes.
until, like, it happens and you either floating up or you staying on the ground. So there was never any certainty.
That's why I
Because
prayed
remember,
to
just
receive
having
Jesus every night at campfire.
yeah, just having a bad thought was sinful. Just coveting was sinful. Just like, right? Yeah.
By the way, I found it. It was
Mhm.
Edgar Wisnat, a former NASA engineer, and he wrote a best-selling book, 88 Reasons Why the Rapture Will Be in 1988.
Oh Lord.
And I do remember this. He predicted the rapture would occur during Rosh Hashanah, sometime between September 11th and 13th, 1988, exactly 40 years after the formation of modern Israel. And then Hal Lindsey came along and wrote a very similar thing, that it would occur one generation or 40 years after Israel's statehood in 1948. That's why 1988 was like the year it was going to
I
happen.
love that he did 88 reasons, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that was for marketing, but the rest was theological.
Exactly. Oh, I mean, really, it was all theological, Brian. Come on.
And
There
if we're gonna name Rapture sounds, come on, Anita Baker, caught up in the Rapture of You. I mean,
Listen,
quintessential
listen. I mean, today's,
Rapture song.
like
there you go.
I do imagine, the scene from Independence Day where the crazy dad guy that is like at the alien party and like, take me now,
Yes.
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Randy Quaid.
imagining. Yeah, like I
Did
will say, can I
mhm.
just say about like I'm having all kinds of feelings today for various reasons. And like I'm a little mad that it didn't happen because you know what? Like
Mm.
I'm a little legit angry because you know, I wouldn't have been raptured like according to these people, but it would be really great. Like there's just some little
If they
part
were
of me that's
gone.
like if they were just gone, all of a sudden, like if
Yes.
all of this kind of
Th-
stuff was just gone. Like I'm a little mad. I'm
well,
a
that's
little mad.
Ogun's take, right? Like,
Yeah,
clear
Right.
out
I'm
the
a little mad.
riffraff, baby.
Yeah.
Says, if the rapture is somebody created this meme. If the rapture were real, the ones left behind might finally get healthcare, human rights, and a government that doesn't quote Leviticus.
Yeah, I'm just
That's not a bad
it's
gig.
I'm a little mad today. But like it was funny to me that I was like, I'm a little pissed off about that.
Is that so much to ask for anyway?
Come on. Come on.
I think I told you guys the story of my sister-in-law and her husband who are they're Assembly of God, and my daughter was living with them at the time. So she graduated, she was still living with them in North Carolina, and it was the last eclipse that happened.
Mm.
Oh, yes, you
And
did tell us. Yes.
yes, when she so my daughter was going to
And Joy
Houston
was
to
staying there.
yeah, Joy was going to go to Houston with some friends because it was in the path of full eclipse. And they dead seriously said to her, like, when you come back, we might not be here. And here's the safe where all the documents are. And here's the keys and the combination to the safe. Like they were like,
They
just,
were
yeah,
in it. They were
they,
legit.
this sign of the end times with all the things happening. And excuse me, they started telling her in the most bizarre way because how they started the whole thing was they said to her, "Remember that time you like came home from work and like we had been out walking the dog, but we you didn't
And we
know, and
weren't
we just like
here.
left the house open and everything. And you walked in and like nobody was here." My child, my daughter, who's like in her 20s, going like, "What are you talking? What is happening right now?" And then Joy says to me, it was the closest they ever came to me to just directly saying, "You're going to burn in hell."
Exactly.
Right?
We
Because
know Jesus
clearly,
ain't coming for you. So,
exactly, you can be left behind. And that's when I said to Joy, "Well, I hate to break this to you, but my name is written in the book of life because once your name's in there, it's not coming out." And at 12, I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. So if the rapture's happening, like my bases are covered.
Right.
And Joy's like, "Why didn't you make sure my bases were covered? What kind of parent are you?"
wow.
So we had a whole thing. I think that was when Joy decided I have to move out. I
Yeah.
can't do this anymore because they were dead serious.
Amazing.
I
And
did it's funny that we were having like as we have the conversation on past, like one of the like memes that I saw today was I don't know, basically like be patient with me today. It's my first rapture. And I thought it is not mine. Like
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
my
Yes.
immediate thought was like, it is not my first
You're a
rapture.
Rapture veteran.
Exactly. I have been through at least three in my memory of like, this is the day. No,
This is
this
the
is
day.
the day. No, this is the day. Like, I've been through at least three, if not more.
Wow.
Like, yeah, no, this is not my first rapture. Like, I'm gonna
Ex-
start saying that instead of rodeo. Like,
Ooh,
Exactly.
nice. Nice.
I think we should
Show
change the.
title, not my first Rapture.
There you go.
I love it. Oh, I love it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Speaking of people we wish were raptured up.
speaking of, there was a very large memorial service for Charlie Kirk over the
Oh
weekend,
my
something like
God.
100,000 people, and just about everyone in the current administration spoke. Um, and in it, the widow, Erica Kirk, offered forgiveness toward the person who killed her husband. She said, I forgive him because it is what Christ did. And then she said, the answer to hate is not hate. So I appreciate that she said that. Wondering if that has the power to potentially diffuse what has been a volatile response to this event. Um, I'll stop there before going on.
So what comes to mind? I think it was James Baldwin that also said this. You got a quote by him later on, but I think he also said, "I can't hear the words you're saying because your actions are so loud."
Yeah.
So I this means absolutely nothing for me at
Well, what
all.
this means to me is I'll forgive him because he believed what I actually believed, even though he killed my husband. But if he had been someone else who maybe we originally thought was the kind of person who killed him, I would not be saying this right now.
Then you would
Exactly.
be saying, bring back the death penalty, like Nancy
Yeah.
Mace said.
Exactly. Like I
Yes.
don't believe you, right? Like that's like there's just a I
I,
and not in the way that like the Charleston family stood up and were like, I forgive you. And the husband came out and said like listen, at that moment they were words, but they were actually the pivotal thing to start me on the process to forgiveness. Like,
Right.
I don't believe you,
There was an
right? Like,
authenticity there that seems lacking
that
here.
seems lacking
And
here.
I tend to agree, especially given like her first like press conference, she had like the death stare, and you don't know what you've ignited in this widow, and we will avenge his death, and you have unleashed hell. And and then you turn around and say, I forgive you. Like what? Like,
It's if I mean it again, you don't have to convince me, right? Like you've clearly convinced hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people to believe you. But it at that point, at that moment, it's performative to me.
that's what I was gonna say. Do you feel like she said it because it's like we know that kind of as Christians, that's we're supposed to maybe
Well,
forgive
well,
people?
it's more about rewriting history because now all they're doing is portraying him as this big, mouthpiece for Christianity. Like this is all we're seeing now. He
Oh,
all the
Charlie Kirk.
weird Charlie Kirk, yes, all the
Yeah.
weird memes are about him meeting Jesus, and
Oh.
there was one AI generated thing where it's like it was a tent where he was shot, and like the whole animation is him getting up from the tent and walking up these stairs and
Oh,
sprouting wings like an angel and
to
flying
heaven,
away. I
yeah.
mean, it is
Wow.
like
I haven't
the
seen
the
any of
shit's
that.
bizarre
Thank
up there.
God.
Yes. So I think in order to rewrite history from the heinous things he said, they're focusing on the Christian piece of it. So they have to display this Christianity. Like, Vance is up there saying, I've talked more about Jesus in the last few days than at all
Mhm.
other times in my life, to which I say maybe that's the problem. Like it was crazy. So I think they were really pushing that side of who he was, in order to cover up. And there were plenty of people who also this is the only paradigm in which they know him as this
Right.
Christian, or self-professed Christian, not the hateful bigot.
Well,
But
but the other
go ahead.
side of what she's saying to me, I mean, so I'm here's what I have a hard time with. I don't believe you. You don't have to convince me. And like if I if I were going to believe you, then I need to see, right? This is Ogun to your point, the James Baldwin quote, right? Like in what other ways are you willing to emulate Christ?
Yes.
Because so far I haven't seen a whole lot of them. Like,
Right.
and I'm not just talking about my definition. I'm talking about a plain ass text reading of the Bible, right? Like, let's just get this,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah, that the answer to hate is not hate part. I'm like, but that was the whole point of Turning Point
Oh yeah.
yesterday,
exactly.
right?
That's the
So
fuel it runs
I
on.
don't understand. But I
I mean,
love
And
I
Shannon drives
love
on spite, but
call
I do
back
drive on
last week.
spite. I do. I'm not ashamed of it.
Call back last week. If you missed last week's show, go
so I
listen.
wrote a post talking about the whole event and that in a way, it really was a display of Christian nationalism that really had nothing to do with Jesus. And it was kind of made a mockery of the cross. They had that guy like dragging this big wooden cross on training wheels, like
On
through the
train on
arena.
the wheels.
And
I
and
know.
some, and somebody asked, but if at least one person invited Jesus into their heart, wasn't it worth it? And I
Nope.
thought, what?
Nope.
What Jesus do you think they're inviting people to? Like, if the whole thing is the opposite of Jesus, how can you even say that?
She came out on stage to pyrotechnics,
Yeah.
I know.
and the flyer that advertised the event didn't even have Charlie Kirk's face on it.
And none
This
of his
was
family was there other than her.
this was not about him. My favorite thing that I saw and also reposted about the event, the two things that really exposed the hypocrisy of MAGA and Christian nationalism: no guns were allowed in the event, you know, and also they broke Grinder.
Yes.
Grinder crashed in Glendale, where the conference was, and I'm like, that just tells you everything you need to
Listen,
know.
statistics don't lie. They
This
just don't.
also
Exactly.
the amount of, like, I don't know if you guys seen this, the trash, the garbage, the
Yeah.
Yeah,
litter that
left.
was left behind
Yeah.
that they've been cleaning up for
Speaking of
days.
Left Behind,
Speaking of Left
Right. Think
Behind,
about what you're leaving behind, right? Like,
like I'm like, this is
yeah,
there was no leave
crazy.
no trace. It was leave all the
Yeah,
traces.
right.
yes.
And so I guess the capstone is that literally after she says that, the president comes up and says, "Sorry, Erica, I hate my opponents." And then the crowd roars to that.
Yeah.
So like
Because
Mhm.
that's what they want to hear,
that's what
right?
they want. That whole
Because
Yes.
thing is
they don't even believe her. Sorry, Brian, but like they don't even believe her, right? Like, oh,
no.
that's nice, honey.
Yeah.
But that's
Aw.
what we want.
But yeah, fuck the they. Whoever the they is, we're against
The
them.
they is them. That's what I don't understand.
I know.
Like,
Oh
the
well.
they is them.
Well, they've always been confused on
They've
pronouns.
been
So
confused by they them pronouns. I know. Like, it's
exactly.
confusing. It is confusing.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've seen it like one of the memes that says like so a far right wing activist gets shot in a in a very conservative state by a conservative guy raised in a conservative household who attended a very conservative college.
Right.
And yet the left is at fault?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like there were signs all over the funeral of like, you will not silence us. I'm like, you silenced yourself. Like
Yes.
you are the you here.
Yes.
No one else is you. It's you.
Well, I
Like,
also heard the whole thing was a big circle, Kirk. Sorry. We'll edit that part out.
that should not be
Edit
funny.
out.
And it
I'm
really
thinking that should
is.
be the show title.
Oh,
I
no.
know, like
What are you talking about?
that should not be hilarious. And I am going to use that at every conference I go to where I feel that way.
Oh,
That was one
oh
big
my
circle,
God.
Kirk. For those of you that don't
That's
know,
a good
Kirk
one.
is the Scottish word for church. You're welcome. The more
Oh,
you know.
Ooh, all the layers. Wow.
all the
Wow. As,
layers.
as
All the
she said
layers.
earlier, not her first rapture.
Not my first
But
rapture.
also our president's not a Christian, and I don't know why people seem to keep thinking that he
No.
is. I like this one blow. I think they. I mean, when you talk about a calculated propaganda campaign, from the time he started running, and they realized he was going to win, like we talk in 2016, 2015, 2016, they realized he was going to win. And they also realized that if he won, he would give them what they promised. The campaign to sell him to Christians
Yep.
was genius diabolical, right? Like he's
100%.
like God works through evil people. This is our modern day king. I don't know if it's
King
Nebuchadnezzar,
Cyrus.
King Cyrus, right? This is our modern day King Cyrus. Like the fact that they sold that and people bought it and were like, these same people who, let's be clear, what Bill Clinton did with Monica Lewinsky was not okay, and that was abuse of power and all the things, and the fact that they, you know, this was what is this? Wasn't this the start of like the moral majority and Newt Gingrich, and they're like clamoring for all the things,
Mhm.
and this is the guy that they getting behind,
Oh, yeah.
and
All the language when they were criticizing Clinton was we need a man of character as
Right.
president.
right, yeah, that went out the
And
window like real quick.
Yeah.
and I mean, there's one more side of this, and we don't have to talk about this today, right? But there was one of the things that's been coming out after this event, which is what it was, right? Is like Chris Tomlin was on stage singing, right? This
I don't even know who
was
that
what it
is.
was.
Who's that?
Major
He's a
Christian artist.
Christian
Okay.
contemporary artist that, to be honest, a lot of progressive church sings his music.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it's
How
the
great is
problem
our
is
God?
he's one of the better Christian songwriters, right? Like that's part of the problem is like
Yep.
it's not a high bar to clear, but anyway, um but there's been a couple of black artists that have come out that used to tour with him that have said it became very clear to me that when we were singing Jesus and we were singing grace, we were talking about two different Jesuses and two different kinds of grace.
Wow.
And that
Mm.
like I was there to sell tickets, but I was not there to be included in their God and their version of grace.
Wow.
And so it did make me actually pause and sit there and think these are moments. It shouldn't be political, but they've just made it political, in my opinion, right?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
by somebody like Chris Tomlin showing up at this event and singing at it, it you're now aligning yourself. And so I think we have to step back as like progressive churches even and say, what does that mean for us when we're singing? Like, do we just get to sing it and redefine it the way that we define it? Maybe.
Maybe.
Or do we need to start thinking differently
Or
about,
ban on Chris Tomlin music, baby. Not in this house.
I mean, it's not a big sacrifice in this house, but nonetheless,
Yeah, I don't think we sing any of his stuff at my church, but
but
but it might sneak in.
it's worth asking some questions about because again, I've sung it multiple times. Like
For
it's
sure.
not all terrible
No, right.
song, right? Like
The songs, right.
yeah,
but
the
again,
songs.
that's that age-old question of separating the art from the artist,
Right.
right?
And all I think the discussion that I would like churches to start having
Mm,
around issues like this are are we okay with that? Like
right.
are we reclaiming this in our area? Is that maybe a good thing to do is to redefine it? Or are we not okay with it, right? And
Yeah.
and maybe just be a little more thoughtful because they've asked us to divide ourselves. Right? They've asked us. They've taken us to a place that we didn't want
Yeah.
to go to.
We
Right?
gotta
So
we gotta ask.
we've got to ask ourselves those questions. And I don't
My
think we often do it with music. I
my
just don't.
my middle ground is if they're still alive, I don't partake of their art and their crafts. After they're dead, I'll make some allowances. Like, I'll listen to Michael Jackson now.
We all made an exception for Michael Jackson. We were like,
we
we just
kind
can't give it up. We
You
just
want to be
can't.
right,
starting
but I
something.
mean, I waited till he was, this is after he died. Like while he was still
Oh,
alive,
I didn't
and the
wait.
accusations started to come out, I was like, yeah, I'm not listening to Michael Jackson anymore. Then after he died, I was like, okay, he's dead.
We just
You know,
couldn't do it. I just
you,
couldn't do
you
it.
know,
I'm
I'm
talking
waiting for
about the
R.
man
Kelly.
in the
I'm waiting for
mirror.
R. Kelly to kick the bucket. I'm waiting for Bill Cosby to kick the bucket. Like, there's a long
Oh,
list of people I'm waiting for them to die to feel in good conscience that I can still
There you go. No, I get that. I get it. I can
engage
respect
them.
that.
That's just me. That's
Yeah.
just my middle ground with all
I
that.
mean, listen,
But
there's plenty of artists that I listen to that I wouldn't have agreed with their stuff, like, Mahler, for instance. But, nonetheless, we'll go on.
Yeah.
but he's
Well,
dead
that's right.
again, dead.
That's right. So one of the things that Charlie Kirk was known for was going to these campuses and having debates and conversations
Right.
on issues. And a lot of times people will say, well, it's okay to disagree with it's fine for us to disagree and we can still respect each other, etc. James Baldwin is on the record as saying we can disagree and still love each other unless, so here's the big asterisk, unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and right to exist. So discuss that in this setting of having these
Hmm.
disagreements and these conversations and why it's more complicated, as Baldwin notes, than many will understand it to be.
Because bigotry is not an opinion. Like an opinion is like this food's too salty, or like need some more sugar in my tea. Like it's not sweet enough for me. Like an opinion is this outfit looks good on me. It does not look good on you. These are like harmless opinions. Bigotry is
But if the
uh
Bible supports my bigotry, then it's just truth, and I'm sorry it hurt your feelings.
so well
That was
my
sorry, that wasn't me. That was
I really do feel when Brian says something that straightforward and clear, that is something that has been quoted at Brian.
yes, for sure, for sure, for sure. So, but you're right. But then no one's gonna say it's bigotry because it's in the Bible.
right.
But then
Doesn't mean
my
it isn't.
response, right? It doesn't mean it isn't. And my usual response to that is two things: one, if you were one of these folks that it's directed at, how would you feel? And two,
Good.
show me all. Let's sit down and discuss a lot of things the Bible say you should be doing that we know you are not,
Right. Well,
because
or
Exactly.
it's
let's
to
discuss all the things in the Bible we can agree are wrong, and why do we have to take everything that's in the Bible as what we should do versus some things in Scripture that are there to tell us what we should not do. Like,
right. And also, it's 2025. We don't do a lot of the crap that's in the Bible.
Right.
Like, I mean, so where do we draw the line? Who gets to decide when something is outdated? It was for the people at that time versus the blindness now. Like, but I've also realized that it's like fish don't know when they're in water. Hypocrites don't know when they are living
Being a hypocrite.
hypocrisy. Yeah, they
You
don't know. They can't see it, and they'll know it exists. So I'm wasting my time arguing with them.
I mean, that's a really good point. Go ahead, Shannon.
no, so I agree that um, like I preached at a church a couple of weeks ago, and somebody in the congregation grabbed onto something that I said that like I I I used a phrase he didn't like, basically. And he was trying to argue with me about it. And I literally stopped and said, we're having two different conversations because wherever he went in his mind with what I was saying was not actually was not the conversation in the sermon, right?
Yes.
So you've got an agenda here that I don't really want any part of
Yes.
because that is not what I was saying. And I don't have any reason to defend myself because you took something I said and ran with it in a different direction. So I don't actually need to defend what I said because you're on a different level than what I did and what I like. Anyway, it was so some of that also happens, but what I think about in this is like progressive churches where, oh, can't we all just get along?
Ugh, yeah.
And the response is, so like a friend of mine posted this week, like somebody said that on the way out of church, and she had to sit there and say, I have no interest in getting along with Nazis.
Yeah.
I have no
Not only
interest in that.
not only
Nor
that,
do I think I should, right?
nor should you, but also I'm not going to take the effort to get along and meet a person halfway if there's no good faith effort on their part to meet me
Right.
as well.
Yes.
Like
And
that's the issue. And
That is
and
critical.
in my spiritual circles, the new thought who feel like, we're not like those Christians who take the Bible literally or blah 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 blah, and we're past that. One of the things that often happens is they take that word love, and so rather than say, like, God is this being in the sky, old man with the beard and all that, we're not like humanizing God anymore. God is spirit, God is truth, God is love, God is like, we substitute a lot of words for God. And but the problem is when they use the word love for God, then what folks tend to do is superimpose the human emotions of love and the human idea of love onto God and say to love like God, or God is love, therefore God is how we do love. And that's not how it works. Like, a lot of folks do a lot of deconstruction but still put a lot of human qualities onto the
Mhm.
divine, and you can't describe the divine or define the divine in any sort of human terms. Like, God, all that is, transcendence, whatever you want to call it, does not have human emotions, does not feel, does not think. Like, it just is. So to say, all right, God is love, therefore we have to love in this way, and love often looks like it has to feel nice. It has to be sunshines, roses, and rainbows. Like, we can't say anything mean. We can't call out injustices and horrors. We can't say that, yes, it was horrible that Charlie Kirk got shot because no one should die by gun violence. Also, this was a horrible, misogynistic, racist bigot. And the world is probably a better place with him being gone. That's not loving. That's not Christ
What
like.
if you might offend someone, Ogun?
What? Well, I will point them to the same scriptures and the long list of offensive things Jesus said to other people.
Well, yeah, and it was always religious authorities and people of position of power, and that's exactly
Yes,
who Charlie Kirk was.
exactly. So
You know, it's
so you can do both.
Can I
Yes.
pause on that, which is so interesting? And we've always had this and we still wrestle with it, but the self-appointing of that, do you know what I
That's
mean?
also true. Didn't
Like
graduate college, didn't go to seminary.
didn't graduate college, didn't go to seminary, like sitting in a church pew, even if you do all of your life, does not make you an expert.
No.
Like, and I'm not like I actually, I mean, I think so if you're gonna play those, and this is where like the rules are not fair, the playing ground is not level, et cetera, right?
Right.
Because my authority as a religious leader would not be recognized in these circles. And yet my knowledge, my experience is far greater.
Supersedes.
And so like this is where so first off, I'll say it again. We have absolutely lost the art of disagreement. We have lost the ability to be okay walking away and disagreeing. So I went back to that church the next week
Yeah.
and they were like, "Are you okay? Oh my God, we're so sorry." I'm like, "Listen, I'm not for everybody. Like he's got his own thing. Like he didn't attack me, he didn't offend like he didn't, it wasn't one of those situations. He was just trying to have a conversation. I tried for a little while and then I was like, we're in two different places and I gotta go because I'm guest preacher here and I don't really need to build this relationship, right? Let's be honest about it. And but they were so worried, right? That like someone in the community would have upset me or somebody would have like, hey, we disagree. So what? It's fine. His like I know more about this than he does, but his opinion wasn't the root of all oppression of another human being. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Right. It was a
his
lower
opinion
level
was
than some of this stuff.
well, I mean, he was like it could get there pretty quickly. Do you know what I mean? Like he was
Yeah.
he was bordering on some of this,
I got you.
but he wasn't fully going there. And yet, and that's where I'm recognizing, buddy, you and I are not going to agree on just about anything because if I take this to the next level where I could take it, we are going to get to this place. And again, that's where I start going, where's the like what's the relationship that needs to be had here? And like Ogun, you said, like just walk away because hey, this relationship doesn't need to be
Yeah.
I don't need to fix this relationship. Like
No.
it's okay. We are strangers passing. It is fine. That is
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm okay
And
with that.
and you don't need protecting. They don't know how far you can go on spite. Like
I mean, and I was riding high on the car that time. Like that was the
they they
weekend that I was like
they,
in it.
Exactly.
they need to protect him from you. They have
He didn't
they
show
have
up the
no
second
idea.
week. He didn't show up the second week, which was actually like my nicest of the three sermons. He showed up the third week and he did not look at me the entire time.
That's
Exactly.
amazing.
I just watched F1, the Formula One movie,
Oh, I need to see
Mm-hmm,
this.
this
mm-hmm.
weekend. Yeah. I mean,
All right.
wasn't great,
Okay.
but there was a wonderful line where basically the storyline is the Javier Bardem character, he's running this Formula One team, and he invites the Brad Pitt character who used to drive with him way back in the days to like drive one of his cars, and his pit crew chief was like, he says his pit crew chief, he's here basically to audition. He's here for the audition, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
guy's like, "What do you mean?" Blah 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 blah. And Javier Bardem says to him, "No, you misunderstand. We're not auditioning him. He's auditioning us."
Us. Yeah.
Uh,
Right. So it's like that same thing with that guy. Like they're worried about protecting you. They're like, no, 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 you got this the wrong way around. You will take that guy down and eat him for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, y'all need to be looking out for him. But yeah, this is I've learned that you cannot talk with folks who are not willing to be open for a good faith discourse. You just can't.
Right.
And people would probably say the same thing about me. Like, where's
Sure.
your want to have a good faith discourse? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to have a good faith discourse with you if you are trying to defend Charlie Kirk. Like that, like there's no good faith in that because I'm still getting people commenting on posts that are like, he didn't say all the horrible things that you're accusing him of saying. And I'm like, in what friggin', and I don't argue. I just drop a link.
Sure.
Just
Yep.
in his own words. Here's some clips. I'll drop a
Yep.
link. I ain't gonna argue with you. I'm not gonna convince you. But I realize people have this very like isolated vision and or image. And then my other favorite thing is like, you need the whole context of the conversation. No, I don't.
Insane
No,
to me how much people have been protected from what he really said and was about.
there's
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 a
no
great line
context in which he calls out three prominent, crazy, intelligent, smart Black women, says they don't have the brain processing power for their roles. They had to take a white person. There's no context in which you can make that okay.
Correct.
And by the way, the three women that he names are some of the most intelligent, accomplished, right? Like
a Supreme Court justice.
A Supreme Court justice.
From a man who never graduated college.
Exactly.
Like graduate degrees, Ivy League schools.
But I still, I mean, again, like I'm still gonna consistently, especially for progressive communities who are like peace, love, and happiness, let's all just hold hands and get along, to be able to say, actually, it is not only okay to disagree, it is really important right now.
You kind of might need to
do this, to stand up and say, no, absolutely not. No.
Let me tell you something that just happened in my movement, which is like, I am alarmed that there are not more people alarmed by this. So in Unity, we've got two separate like organizations that head the movement, and for decades they've been trying to merge together, and now it looks like it's going to happen, and they're writing a new charter to move forward. And they said, like, we looked at basically four organizations in terms of how they operated and how they got their message out and how they got people involved, and we look to them as examples of how we can like manage ourselves as a movement moving forward. Black Lives Matter, the No Kings movement, and then they go Moms for Liberty and Turning Point USA.
What?
Right, exactly. And we're all like, and not enough of us.
Structure and policy. They're not talking about content.
Right, there's structure and policy. But here's the thing. The thing is, you can't really separate, I believe, separate structure and policy from your goal.
From your ethos and your...
From your ethos. Right. You figure what that out is.
Your purpose may be different, but
You figure out what your purpose is, what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve. And then you figure out, okay, how can we do this? Right? The two are intimately connected. And they were like, oh, we're not... Like, of course, we disagree with their philosophies, and we're not born from their philosophies. We're just born from their actions. And we're like, no. You all clearly missed the intent and impact memo, right? So now they're queer people, and in our churches who, when you say, oh yes, we're pulling from Turning Point USA, Moms for Liberty for our charter, they're gonna be like, what?
Yeah. Nope.
The organizations that want us to cease to exist, these are the people you're turning to look to. I don't care if they do what they do well. That's not the fucking point, right? So there's like maybe a handful of us who are like going like, who was in the room when this was decided, and no one said, can we pause for a second? Right? At the very least, keep that shit on the DL. I don't need to know that.
I was going to say, even if you like some of their strategies or policy, like procedural stuff, don't say that out loud.
No. Don't say that out loud, especially now.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like, don't say that. Like, well, where'd you get the idea for that? I don't know. It just kind of organically happened. Yeah. Like,
right,
you
whatever.
don't have to say that.
I'm like, oh yes, but no, they lead in with their whole chest. Yes, we looked at Turning Point USA. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Okay.
Wow.
Now of all times, this is what you're gonna come out and say, like, good God, and this is what. So I'm hearing all of this, like, a few days, like, so Kelly Slow, who we do other things with, she's like she wrote like this real big response to it, like a very fervent, strong response to it, and she posted it on Facebook, and I'm reading it for the first time. I'm like, what's happening?
Right.
Because I told her I have to stay out of these groups and these conversations because I don't have enough mental bandwidth to handle just the total, I don't know, blindness, idiocy, like the
Yeah.
can you not see what you're doing? And no, they can't because I I
Yeah.
got no words.
Wow.
I got no words.
Wow.
I got no words. And
Yeah.
everybody seems to be cool with it. Everybody seems cool with it. But I'm like, I'm not saying it's a racist thing, but when you have a like super majority white organization, especially super majority white older people,
You're going to have a lot of blind spots.
yeah.
Yeah. Not so great. Not so great.
Well,
Not
speaking
not
of
not so great.
being upset, Proverbs 29:11 says, fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end. Discuss the wisdom in this, and not if, but when there are exceptions to this maxim.
I feel we're all fools on the show then, because
Exactly.
we've vented some rage
I
over the
honestly,
years.
I mean, I do, but like I do feel that I've learned to do this well, especially compared to where I started from, right?
Yes.
Like I I've learned, and I actually like profess to clients, whether they be individuals or like institutions, when things are urgent, which is what rage venting is, right? Everything becomes very urgent and I have to get this out right now. So
Mm.
like you should always have a protected group of people that you can do that with. Welcome to Pub Theology Live. We're so glad to have you. You know, but when things are urgent, actually like we think we need to make quick decisions and what we really need to do is slow down.
Yes.
And I think that's the wisdom of this proverb is like,
Right.
but in the end, you need to calm down so you can make, and not like, honey, you need to calm down, but like,
No.
you need to slow the process down so that you can make decisions out of your values and what is right and good rather than responding out of the urgency of rage. That's what I read into this, it is a practiced skill. Let me put it that way.
Sort of like when you're angry that you fumbled in the fourth quarter and throw your helmet, then you sort of slip and fall a little because you gave full vent to your rage.
Listen, the man does not know his own strength. He is so powerful that when you slam your helmet down, your entire body gets lifted off the ground.
Oh
No,
That
my
is how
god.
strong Derrick
there was
Henry
a
is.
tremor recorded in Baltimore when that.
There was. Listen,
All right.
he is a beautiful man. Let's
That's
not
me
lie
going
about it.
far afield. But couldn't you also say that there is a wisdom in giving some vent to your rage? Because if you never give space for those feelings, then like worse things happen, right?
But the
Like there has to be
cons
proper outlets,
I
channels,
so yeah, and for me the calm is not anti-rage. The calm is
right?
rage with purpose, right?
Mm.
That's
We can be angry, but don't let anger drive the car.
Listen, I'm the mom who if I fly off the handle and yell at you, my kids are like, "Mom, whatever." If I get quiet and calm,
Yeah.
like I'm mad. Like let's not pretend that the calmness isn't like core shaking to in the right way, right?
Yeah.
The calm is rage strategizing.
Well, but like fools fly off the handle. We are literally watching it right now at the UN. Fools fly off the handle
Yeah,
in
right.
the moment,
At
So
the
true.
right?
UN, the whole presidency. What UN are you talking? The whole presidency.
Right. But in a capsule this moment at the UN without a
Oh my
teleprompter.
god.
But
Yes.
the why, right? But we wise are able to harness the rage
Yeah.
Mm,
in a way that we can actually get shit done because of it.
there you go.
That's what I
Right.
mean,
Righteous anger. Righteous
it's
anger
righteous anger. It's
is
not
great fuel.
Which is very different than blind rage,
Exactly.
which is
exactly.
dangerous and very volatile.
And
Exactly.
it's I think to me too, it's the difference between the people. So there's the fool, like gesture type fool of this. Like
Right.
I can't take anything he says seriously kind of stuff. And then there's the like walking on eggshells part of that. That like you
Mhm.
don't know when they're gonna go off because they have no control over their emotions.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's also this fool venting rage
Oh,
scenario.
for sure, for sure. And that's where you find codependent households where it's like the anger is just under the surface, and we all have to be we have to be placating this individual so
Yep.
that there's no shrapnel or whatever.
Yep. And again, like, and the calm in that scenario isn't, at least in my household, what was the mother trying to like, don't sit in the chair because he'll be upset. Don't whatever. Like, that's actually, I mean, it just made it so much worse, right?
Right.
So that's not the calm. That's actually participating in the foolery. Like, they're both fools in that scenario,
Correct.
right? The calm is creating, I mean, and again, we would have to know what other proverbs are around this or why this was written, and I'm not going to look it up right now, but
No,
like
and of course, I mean,
Proverbs is, man, Proverbs is gems. I love Proverbs. Like,
but also
boop.
you can only take them so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there is a nugget of truth and wisdom there, but also it's you can't blanket it on everything.
Right. And like
Well,
again, calm here is not complacency. Calm here is not inaction. Like,
so
Right.
so the other piece about this, around the wise brain calm, is that there's wisdom in realizing that when we are angry, it's rarely about what we're angry about. You
right.
know,
Yes.
like when what is the relationship like maxim when couples is fighting? They're never really
Right.
fighting about the thing they're fighting about,
Yeah.
right? So when you're wise enough to realize this,
Yeah,
then and you can address the real matter, what's really at play here, then you let the energy out.
that's right.
The anger dissipates because it's never the thing you're fighting about.
It's never the thing. Sort of like Shannon's example with this person in this congregation, like he was dealing with stuff that's tangential to what Shannon was
Yeah.
talking about in that sermon. And because there's not this committed relationship, and doesn't need
Right.
to be, it's not worth going further.
Mm-mm.
Exactly. And sometimes that wisdom is just, I am walking away
And she
Yep.
brought
because
the
I'm not.
calm right in his face.
I mean, and again, like to Ogan's point, like I didn't necessarily handle it perfectly. Like I wasn't really I wasn't doing a good job listening because you know what? I was done. I was walking to my car, right?
Exactly.
Like it was
Exactly.
not to sound weird about it, but when you're a guest preacher somewhere, like you get paid very little to do a job, and like when I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah.
Thank you, but bye,
Off the
right?
clock,
Like
baby.
yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but like I'm not your permanent pastor. I'm just
Well, my whole thing when I was a guest speaker was I will come in, say the things that the regular pastor doesn't get to say, or is too afraid to say, or is specifically bringing me in to stay because they need to keep their job, and I'll say the things and then go, and then they get to clean up the mess afterwards. They get
well,
to
and by the
mitigate
way,
all the responses.
this
Yes.
was not that. This was very benign. Like I literally I talked about an existence of food deserts, like and not even in any sort of political way. Like I just mentioned that they existed and
Yeah.
make it a joke about plugging my husband's, but like there's a joke, it's like a joke line kind of thing. And I'm talking because the line in the scripture is they were in a deserted place. and
Yes.
and it's Luke's reading of the 5,000, right? And they were in a
Yeah.
deserted place. And I said, I never looked at this lens, but we use this phrase now. And like, what does it mean that they were in a deserted place with all these people? Like, what is deserted? And
Love
like,
it.
literally, that's it. That's it. But again, like I knew enough to sense that he's about to go to a pretty racist place of
Mhm.
a narrative that he has bought into,
Oh, wow.
and I'm not going to go there with
Yeah,
you.
no, thank
Like,
you.
and by the way, not what I was talking about at all,
Right.
right? And so, like, I'm not going to do that, and we're going to be done. And so, and I'm going to leave it messy because I'm fine with that. Because, like, because I'm not invested in you coming over to my side. But maybe he was, I don't know,
Yeah.
invested in me coming over to his and it made him I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's
It
Well,
fine.
doesn't.
listen.
Let's just live in the muckiness of it being disagreeable. That's fine. Let's move on. You know? But the ability, that's the calm to walk away, right?
Yeah.
Unlike the mechanic, if you were listening to last week's show, I didn't get so enraged that it fueled me for the next few weeks. I was like, meh.
Exactly.
And to be honest, I
Uh,
wouldn't probably have thought twice about him if he didn't come to church on Sunday and not look at me in the face once. That was what was weird.
you were
Dude,
living
be a
out
human.
Proverbs 29:11 and
I
didn't
know.
even know it.
And I'm like, yeah,
You
whatever.
kind
I
of knew it, but
was like, hey, how you doing?
He was thinking about you a lot more than you were thinking about him.
Oh, isn't that always the case, Hogan? You know.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, friends, for tuning in to Pub Theology Live. You can show your love for the show by becoming a supporter on Patreon. Get access to pre and post show banter and more. Visit patreon.com/PTLive to get started. And a big thank you to our current patrons. Our top cities tuning in this week are St. Paul, Minnesota, Phoenix, Arizona, and Ashburn, Virginia. If you would like to start a pub theology gathering in your town, find support and resources at pubtheology.com. So until next time, friends, drink responsibly and keep those conversations flowing.